Your wish fulfilled asks of your relief. Here is the secret, my friend. So, if you've been practicing the law of assumption and trying to embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, well, how do you know you have done it, right? How do you know you actually getting yourself into the state of your desire being fulfilled? You know it by the feeling of relief. Because here is the thing. Let me help you remember something. Last time you had a really important desire, but let's say let's go in the past. Let's say this is something that a desire you had a couple of years back, and so you were really committed about it. You wanted it so much, and you had a lot of expectations of what you needed to do. You did some actions. You expected things from other people to help you, and this created a lot of resistance. But eventually, you were able to do the required action, to have a little bit more faith, to be a little bit more patient, and by doing so, you eventually experience the feeling of relief, the feeling that your desire is already coming, the feeling that you already did enough, the feeling that there is nothing else you could do, and now the rest depends on the universe, depends on your higher self. So, and eventually, by getting yourself to that state of relief, your desire started feeling natural, didn't it? And you've like, it's inevitable you've had similar experience in the past. So, assuming that this is something we've already experienced in the past, like passing through a similar process, and I'll explain in a second what it is, then we can accept the fact that any desire we have asks us to experience the feeling of relief, because relief shows us that we are already fulfilled in that desire. We've already done all that's required. We've already stressed enough. We've already expected enough. We've already been disappointed enough. And so eventually we experience the relief of knowing that our desire is being fulfilled. And so if you put that in your past, meaning that you remember that this is how it happened in your past for you, let's say previous desires that you've already fulfilled. Now let's take that same mechanism and try to apply it to what you're currently attracting to yourself, to what you're currently assuming, to what you're currently affirming to yourself and visualizing. How do you do that? Well, first you need to understand, okay, I have a desire. I have a desire of a romantic relationship with my specific person. I have a desire of this job. I have a desire to have a new car. I have a desire that somebody meets me or like somebody contacts me. Whatever your desire is, let's look at it just for a moment. That there is this energy of desire. And now see that your desire naturally, by itself, through its own power of self expression, creates certain expectations in your mind. So, in a way, you become attached to a strategy that you have fantasized about, that you think is the way it should happen. So, you're attached to expectation that it must happen a certain way, or if it doesn't happen that way, then it won't happen at all. This happens again by itself through your own desire, through the power of your own desire. Your mind creates expectations. Now most of those expectations create resistance. Why do they create resistance? Well, because when we have expectations of the outer world, of people, of ourselves, even of what we have to do, what actions we have to take, what is it, how is it that we should strategize and plan out our day? So when we have expectations of us or the outside world, other people and circumstances of how they should unfold, these expectations, they create resistance. So the resistance is coming from the fact that we are demanding something to be the way that it isn't, because reality is already complete. It's already here now as what it is. And everything you currently experience in your circumstantial reality, it belongs to your feeling state, to your state of being, of what attracted it and put it into place here now. So, seeing that this is already the case, When you have expectations about the current circumstantial reality, that it should look a different way, somebody else should do something else, somebody should do something that that shows you that your desire is realized, you should do something to progress in the destination of the realization of your desire. So whenever you have expectations, they form resistance on reality. It's like you are demanding reality to be different, and when you demand, you're radiating this energy of I don't have it. It's not already the case. So this resistance that gets generated through your expectations, naturally, it happens just by the fact that we are able to desire. Because we are able to desire, we are able to attach our attention to certain expectations we have of the outer world. Now these expectations, because we want to force the outer world to change the 3D reality, then this creates resistance in our bodies, which is something that, if you followed me, you might feel now. What you feel in your body, if you followed me this far, what you feel in your body is this resistance I'm talking about. Now this resistance, it naturally seeks expression. So what do I mean by that? Well, this resistance, it either requires you to do something so that you can, in a way, put that energy out there, like let it come out of you. So you can either do something, like do some action with that resistance in your body, or you can let it go. Now you have both choices here. You can either act it out so that the energy behind this resistance dissipates, and now it no longer blocks your desire. And so by acting it out, you are just saying to yourself, I will take responsibility of my own expectations so that I won't be forcing them onto others, right? This is what you do when you act it out. But when you decide to let it go, now this is the harder part. When you decide to let it go, you are saying to yourself inwardly, this desire and the expectations it creates, the resistance that the expectations create, and so this expression, like the expression of my desire, it's not my responsibility. Meaning that I'll decide to have faith in the state of my desire being fulfilled, because through this decision of having faith, I accept that it is already mine. And when it's being already mine, I don't have to do anything about it. If something needs to be done and I need to surrender to that doing, I'll do it. But I wouldn't expect of myself to do something necessarily. Or I wouldn't expect of others to do something necessarily. Like I wouldn't force it on them. I'll just live in faith, and if that faith makes me do something, if it's coming from the feeling, from the end, then I'll do it. But if it's coming from forcefulness, trying to force reality to be reflected the way I want it to be so that I can feel safe and secure that my desire is coming, then I won't do anything. I'll just let go of that feeling. So this is how the resistance seeks expression. It can either be through some of the actions that you do in the direction of your desire, whatever comes as most inspiring, or it could also be through the complete letting go. And now the second one is more challenging, the second approach. Because what is it required to let go? Well, it requires faith. It requires faith in a greater power, in the dimensionally greater one, your higher self, your awareness of being. It requires faith in your ability to tap into the state of your desire fulfilled. And you give your expectations back to that desire. And so by doing so, now these expectations, they ask you for relief. So do you follow me? Are you still with me? Stay a moment. Because having accepted that resistance seeks expression, and now the expression, like either you act it out or you let it go, in both cases, it asks for relief. Let me ask you this. When you do a certain action that you think would bring you the desired result, you feel relieved after you do it, right? So every expression of the resistance created behind the expectations of your desire, every expression asks for relief. Now let me ask you this. What if you could experience the feeling of relief now without having to do anything? Just accepting your desire as it comes to you without conditioning it in a certain form, giving it a way of expression, just accepting the fact that the desire itself, the energy behind that desire, it contains within itself both the power and the plan of its self-expression. So you are not too prideful of knowing how it must be done, or of knowing that it wouldn't be done because your circumstantial reality shows you the exact opposite of what you want. No, instead of being so attached to it, what if your desire contained within itself the power and plan of its self-expression, and so you could have faith in your desire? Now what happens next? Well, what happens next is that this relief, it automatically assumes fulfillment. So when you give yourself permission to experience the state of relief, knowing that you already have done enough by just assuming the feeling of your desire being fulfilled, that's why you experience relief. Now, giving yourself the permission to experience relief automatically assumes fulfillment. Do you follow me? If you follow me this far, this fulfillment is something that you would be experiencing now. How do you feel? Do you feel the fulfillment of your desire already being here? Because you know you've done a lot, you've expected a lot, you've imagined a lot, you've done the affirmations, you've done the scripting, you've done everything that was asked of you. Now what's left is the feeling of relief. And now let me share with you one last thing I want to close this video with. It's basically one statement from Neville. Faith is the substance of the things hoped for. So whenever you are embodying the feeling of a desire, and so you're still hopeful about it, right? You still haven't experienced, you still haven't embodied it fully. You still haven't aligned fully to its conception. And so faith is the substance of the things hoped for. Now, what I shared here was that your desire is asking you to have faith. And this faith is relief. It's like you experience relief through faith, through accepting that all that you have, that all that was required of you is done. And all that was required of you is to experience the state of your desire being fulfilled. So faith is the substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. So isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful that every desire that comes to us, we can treat it as a promise of God? So there was another beautiful quote I really enjoyed from Neville, which is, look upon your desires, all of them, as the spoken words of God, and every word or desire a promise. That's why, my friend, if your desires are coming from God, then it's okay to experience the state of relief and let your desire be exactly as it is. Don't want anything from it. It is enough. When it comes to you, it is enough. So have faith in the unseen claim until conviction is born within you that it is so. Conviction only can be born when you experience relief, because relief, again, assumes that your desire is already being fulfilled. It has already been done. It's in the past. And so experience relief of not having that desire because it's already yours. So give yourself permission to experience relief, because your wish fulfilled asks of your relief. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end, my friend. Now, if you found this video to be helpful, and I trust you did, like it, comment down below, let me know what's your experience with the wall of assumption, subscribe to the channel if you are new to it, and I will see you around in the next video. Bye bye for now. I love you. Enjoy your day.